Dear student, today we discuss signed measure. Before starting signed measure, we discuss some concepts that we already studied in MSc second semester. Okay, so first we define sigma algebra. Okay, sigma algebra. So let X be a set and S be a collection of subsets of X. Then S is called sigma algebra if it satisfies the following condition. First, A belongs to S, B belongs to S, implies their union belongs to S, means A union B belongs to S. Second, A belongs to S implies A complement belongs to S. Third, if An is a sequence of sets in S, then union n is equal to 1 to infinity An is in S. Then we call it a sigma algebra. Okay, now come on to next definition, measure. Okay, so let X be a set and S be sigma algebra of subsets of X. A function mu from S to extended non-negative real number, means closed interval 0 infinity, is called measure on X if it satisfies the following condition. Number 1, mu of empty set is 0. Number 2, if En is a sequence of measurable sequence of pairwise disjoint measurable subsets of X such that mu of union n is equal to 1 to infinity En is summation n is equal to 1 to infinity mu of En. Okay, so obviously if S is sigma algebra, then each we call each subset of this sigma algebra is measurable subset. Okay, now we come on to the idea of signed measure. Now we know if mu1 and mu2 are two measures on a measure space XS, then we define a measure mu on the same measure space X by setting mu of E is equal to C1 mu1 of E plus C2 mu2 of E, where C1 and C2 both are non-negative, okay, and E is a measurable subset of X. So this will be a measure on X, but mu is a measure on X, but if we define mu to be mu1 minus mu2, that is mu of E is equal to mu1 of E minus mu2 of E, then in this case the first thing is that mu is not always non-negative, okay, not always non-negative, and this gives the idea of signed measure. One more thing is that mu is not defined if mu1 of E is equal to mu2 of E is equal to infinity. That gives the indeterminate form of mu. So before defining the signed measure, we keep in this thing in our mind, one of the mu1 E or mu2 is finite, okay. So let us define signed measure. What is signed measure? First we define signed measure. Let X be a set and S be the sigma algebra of subsets of X, okay. A function mu from S to extended real number, this is said to be signed measure on X if it satisfies the following conditions. Number one, mu takes at most one of the value plus infinity or minus infinity. Second, mu of empty set is 0. Third condition, if En is a measurable sets in S for every n greater than or equal to 1, and these En are pairwise disjoint, just a minute, these En are pairwise disjoint n not equal to m such that mu of union n is equal to 1 to infinity en is equal to summation n is equal to 1 to infinity mu of en. Okay, so this is the definition of our signed measure. Now come on to theorem. After that we come on to some examples and some properties of signed measure. Okay, so first theorem, if x s mu is a signed measure space, signed measure space, and en b is a pairwise disjoint sequence of sets, sequence of measurable sets such that this mu of union n is equal to 1 to infinity of en modulus is finite less than infinity, then the series summation n is equal to 1 to infinity mu of en is absolutely convergent. Okay, now we first prove this theorem, because in the last property of signed measure you get mu of this mu of union n is equal to 1 to infinity. If this is finite, then our series in the right hand side of property 3 of the definition of signed measure, this will be your absolutely convergent. Okay, so we prove this. We write en plus your en if mu of en is greater than or equal to 0, and 0 if mu of en is less than 0, and en minus is equal to en if mu of en is less than or equal to 0, and 0 if mu of en is greater than 0. This is the definition of en plus and en minus, means the positive part of en and negative part of en. Positive part of en means the sense if the set have measure positive, then it is your en plus, and if the measure of en is negative, then it will be en minus. Okay, then by the property of signed measure, this summation n is equal to 1 to infinity en plus is equal to summation n is equal to 1 to infinity mu of en plus, and mu of union n is equal to 1 to infinity en minus is equal to summation n is equal to 1 to infinity mu of en minus. Okay, so we first assume that this is your 1 and this is your equation 2. Okay, now since the series in the right hand side of 1 and 2 are of constant or of constant sign, and mu is a signed measure. Mu is signed measure, and so it follows that and so it follows that uh, it follows that and so it follows that uh, at most uh, uh, and so it follows that uh, it takes means mutex. It takes, that is mutex at most one of the value plus infinity or minus infinity. So one of the series in 1 and 2 uh, is convergent. Okay, since uh, your the sum of two series 1 and 2 is the convergent series summation n is equal to 1 to infinity mu of en. So it follows that they both converges. Okay, it follows that they both converges. It means uh, the convergence of positive terms series as well as the series of negative terms is equivalent to absolute convergence, absolutely convergent of the series. Okay, that is the proof of our theorem. Next we come on to a very little example. If we consider x to be your closed interval 0 1 and your S be the sigma algebra of Lebesgue measurable subsets of X. Okay, now let mu 1 is equal to Lebesgue measure and mu 2 is equal to point mass measure at half. Okay, what is point mass measure? We generally define the point mass measure at x naught of a set E is defined as 1 when x naught belongs to E and 0 when x naught does not belongs to E. This is the general definition of point mass measure, and this is the point mass measure at x naught. And let mu is equal to mu1 minus mu2. Okay. Now come on to first mu of this closed interval 0 1. The mu of mu1 of closed interval 0 1 minus mu2 of closed interval 0 1. Okay, since you know mu1 is a Lebesgue measure, so length in case of Lebesgue measure, the measure of an interval is the length of the interval. So the length of the interval is 1 minus 0, that will be 1, and mu2 is a point mass measure at half, so the point 1 by 2 belongs to this interval, so the value is 1. So 1 minus 1 become 0. So measure of this will be 0. Next, if we take sub interval 1 by 4, 3 by 4. Okay, so what is the mu1 of 1 by 4 comma 3 by 4 and mu2 of 1 by 4 comma 3 by 4. Okay, so mu1 of 1 by 4 comma 3 by 4, mu1 is your Lebesgue measure, so length of the interval is 3 by 4 minus 1 by 4, and minus the point 1 by 2 belongs to this interval, so the value is mu2 of this interval is 1, so 1 by 2 minus 1, that will be minus 1 by 2, that is less than 0. Okay, clear? So your mu is a signed measure. Okay, now we come on to some properties of signed measure. You in the definition of signed measure, the third property is also known as countably additive property. Okay, so our next theorem is a signed measure is finitely additive. Okay, proof. Let x s mu be a signed measure space, let E1, E2 and so on En belongs to S, and EI intersection EJ is empty for I not equal to J, means they are pairwise disjoint. Okay, and EK is equal to empty for K greater than N. Okay, now union N is equal to or K is equal to 1 to infinity, En not En, it is Ek, is equal to K is equal to 1 to N your Ek. Okay, so by the countable additive property of signed measure, this mu of this is equal to summation N is equal to 1 to infinity mu of En, or better to write Ek, not En. Okay, so that will be mu of summation union K is equal to 1 to N En is equal to summation K is equal to 1 to N mu of Ek. This shows that your signed measure is countably additive. Okay, now we trying to prove your signed measure is not subadditive. Okay, we give an example to prove that. Give an example example to prove that the signed measure is not subadditive. Okay, it is countably additive, finitely additive, but not subadditive. Okay, so for this we prove, for this let x s mu be a signed measure space in which your signed measure is defined as mu of e is equal to integral over e f dx. This is the definition of your signed measure, and let e is equal to closed interval 0 to pi, and e1 be your subset of this closed interval, that will be your pi to pi, and e2 is nothing but your same as e. Okay, now compute the value of these integral on these sets. We get mu of e1 is equal to integral 0 to integral over e1 f dx. So it will be 0 to it will be your pi to 2 pi. We assume here where f is your sin x. Okay, so sin x dx. So in this case, if you integrate this integral, then you get the value -2, and if you find the value of this integral mu of e2, so integral over e2 sin x dx is integral over 0 to 2 pi sin x dx is 0. So it means mu of e is also 0. This shows that mu of e1 union e2 is not equal to mu of e1 plus mu of e2, not equal to, or it is not less than or equal to, mu of e1 plus mu of e2. So our signed measure is not subadditive. Now come on to the very little result, that is your signed measure is subtractive. A signed measure is subtractive. Okay, signed measure is your subtractive. For this we assume that let x s mu be a signed measure space. MS means measure space. Okay, and E be a subset of X such that minus infinity is less than mu of E less than infinity. Okay, let F be a measurable subset of E. F be a measurable subset of E. Then we write E to be the union of F union E minus F. Okay, and this union must be disjoint, so we put a dot sign in this union sign. So mu of E, you know mu is finitely additive, so mu of E is equal to mu of F plus mu of E minus F, E minus F, or mu of E minus F is equal to mu of E minus mu of F. This shows that your mu is subtractive. Okay, now I will stop here. In the next class we discuss positive, negative set and some of the properties of positive, negative sets. Okay, okay, bye, thank you.